Hey everyone, Happy New Year and welcome to another MTG Arena Standard Best of 1 video. Today we are piloting some Naya Humans. The goal of the deck is to play a bunch of humans, overwhelm our opponent before they have the chance to do anything, and attack through them for the win. Let's go through the cards one by one. We have 4 Recruitment Officers, the only one drop in the deck. Would be nice to have it in our opening hand. It's not essential in any way, shape or form, but it's nice to be there. A lot of our lands will come into play tapped turn 1, and we'll get into that shortly. But the 2 drops and the 3 drops is really where the magic happens. For Intrepid Adversary, it's a nice turn 2 tempo play, and it's also good at getting rid of our opponent's early removal. But on top of that, playing it for 4 mana for its Anthem effect is really where this card shines. 4 copies of Thalia, probably the best turn 2 play in Standard as of right now, especially when it's on the play. Even if our opponent uses their turn to sort of play a 2 mana cut down or a 2 mana play with fire, it's still a really good tempo play for us, and it allows us to open up and put more humans on the board. Now, if they don't deal with it, we get a 2/1 First Striker. That First Strike ability is amazing, don't underestimate it. 3 copies of Hajar, Loyal Bodyguard. It's a 2 mana 3/3 with upside. It's basically a really good Watchwolf in Gruul colors is how I describe it. And having this on the field means that we can protect our legendaries from things like Brotherhood's End, Depopulate and other removal spells as well. And we run quite a few legendaries as you can see in the list. 3 Katilda, Dawnhart Prime. This helps us generate a lot of mana very quickly to play our big bad boys and really just overwhelm our opponents, as I said earlier. Then when we get to the 3 drops, 3 Anointed Peacekeepers can bring a fast start to a grinding halt, or stops our opponents from really getting into the game if we are ahead. Some Naya Humans lists actually didn't use this card, but I think that's a mistake. I think in mid-range matchups and control matchups, this card can be absolutely backbreaking. 4 copies of Brutal Cathar, the only removal spell in the deck. You need to be very careful in terms of what you choose to target with this, because say you're playing mono black and you target, I don't know, Tenacious Underdog, and then our opponent plays a Shieldred, yeah, gonna wish you held onto our Brutal Cathar. But so just be careful, and also we're probably not gonna end up attacking or blocking with this Brutal Cathar either. Then we also have 3 Adelines. This is an excellent card in the current meta where there's many ways, there are many ways of punishing 4 toughness creatures, but no one's really playing them at the moment. And the great thing about this, because it's got vigilance, we can attack, block, make dudes, and tap Adeline for mana with Katilda if we need to. Really, really strong. And then 1 Hamlet Vanguard, just a single copy. A lot of Naya Humans lists play more, but I'm kind of finding it not that great. But if you're in a mid-range matchup and you really need to put down a big presence on the board, this is the card to do so. And the Ward 2 is always, you know, useful, forcing our opponents to waste a turn if they need to. Augur of Autumn is a really underutilized card right now in Standard. Being able to look at the top card and see what's coming next is always a blessing, and being able to play lands so you can get through your mana flood as well. Dig deeper towards the good stuff. I think it's worth it. Notice how it says you may look at the top card of your library and it's not a reveal, so you know what's coming but your opponent does not. That's always a good thing. Magic Gathering is a game of information at the end of the day. The Coven ability is amazing. It's not the only Coven ability in the deck, but this one lets you also cast creature spells from the top of the library. That's why every single card in this deck is a creature, because we want to be able to play every card with Augur of Autumn. It's only a 2 of. I can see this going up, but I'm happy with 2 for now. And then for the 4 drops, this is where the deck starts getting super spicy. We have 4 copies of Halana and Alena partners. Some decks play 3. I choose to play 4 simply because getting this down on turn 4, or even better on turn 3, and then putting 2+1/+1 counters on things and really beginning to ramp up our board presence is so crucial. You can give these creatures haste as well. So say I put a Halana and Alena down, and then I put down another card. We're going to go into Sigarda. We can give Halana and Alena, we give Sigarda, sorry, +2/+2 and haste. And that can really set things off. Sigarda is the only non-human, non-land in the deck. 4/4 Flying Trample, but humans we control get +1/+1, which is amazing. These two in synergy will be really good, especially if we can then put 3 +1/+1 counters on things. And then the covered as well, whenever the Sigarda attacks, we can look at the top 5 cards. If we control things with creatures with 3 or more different powers, we can put a human creature into our hand and the rest on the bottom of the library. Lots of creatures with lots of cool abilities. We've already mentioned Brutal Cathar, but Anointed Peacekeeper, Katilda, Hajar, Thalia, all excellent things to fetch from Sigarda. The problem with playing a tricolour deck like Naya is that the mana bases can be a bit weird. In terms of our decisions here, we run 6 Painlands. They're annoying, and drawing too many of them can be costly, especially in a mono-red environment or aggro-heavy environment, but we need the mana fixing, so we hope we don't draw too many, but there are times when I've drawn 3 of these, and it's just like, can I win this? And usually the answer is no if they play turn 1 Mountain. Kimono plays Kakazan, faces Kakazan. You've just got to be careful. 6 of the slow lands. Don't be afraid to play these on turn 1. There aren't many turn 1 plays. That's why we only run 4 1-drops. Is simply because we play so many tap lands that, it's not really worth it. So yeah, don't be afraid to go sort of turn 1 tapped Overgrown Farmland into turn 2 Battlefield Forge, for example. That can save you some tempo. And then we've got Jetmir's Garden. We only play 3, but it's nice that it covers all 3 colours. Just a shame it comes in tapped. The cycling ability is nice, but we don't use it all the time. 4 Plaza of Heroes. Really good for casting the many, many, many legendaries that we have. The final 4th ability to stop a legendary creature from dying is nice, but we're often spending that money to cast other things. I think I've only used it once or twice in testing so far. And then 4 Secluded Courtyard, naming human most of the time, but if you have a Sigarda in your hand, Sigarda is quite colour intensive, as you may be able to notice, so don't be afraid to name Angel as well to try and get Sigarda out onto the field. It is the start of a new rank season, so let's get into the game, starting in Platinum 4. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the video, all the good stuff. Let's get into it. Alright, opponent's going first, looking at our lands here. This is actually quite good. We'll keep this 7. Chances are we'll go turn 2 Katilda into turn 3 Augur. That is not particularly what we want to see, but it's okay. We'll play the Overgrown Farmland tapped. Mono blue can be quite a tough matchup, I'm not going to lie. Is this a Secluded Courtyard game? Yeah, I'm going to hold on to that for the time being. We don't need to show that we are playing more than 2 colours just yet. Don't be surprised if Thalia gets countered here, but it is the correct play. He gets mono blue. We want their things to cost 1 more. They are stuck on 2 lands. Perfect. We have a couple of options available to us. I think, however, the correct play is to play the Jetmir's Garden tapped and get out the Katilda, so that next turn we can start paying extra mana and start playing around things like Make Disappear. We can also play things like Intrepid Adversary, but I'd rather play it for its Anthem effect. We don't think we need to play Augur of Autumn just yet. I think I'd rather play the Jetmir's Garden tapped and just get out Katilda. Yes, we're paying 1 life and we could have just played out the Secluded Courtyard instead, but I want access. I should have actually played the Secluded Courtyard. Yeah, that's a mistake. Syncopate for 1. Okay. Yeah, I should have played Secluded Courtyard. Hopefully we don't get punished too hard. We know what these decks are like. What have they played so far? They played a Make Disappear and a Syncopate. Chances are they probably have Essence Scatter. Ooh. Let's play out in Adeline here. Nothing. That was a big fat nothing. Which is good for us, because it means that they don't have any counter spells or anything like that. They played a Naked Hortigen because they're desperate. I'm also going to play out this Recruitment Officer, because now we know Mono Blue doesn't have a way of really dealing with a lot of creatures on the board. There are things like Urza's Command, but Mono Blue Tempo typically doesn't play Urza's Command. Brutal Cathar, it's easy to go for the Hortigen. The problem we have is that they could play Fading Hope at the end of our turn. But no, that's not how it's going to be. And that's a fairly easy win for us. to get things started. Hey, gotta love it. Okay, we are going first. We have 3 lands, 4 spells. I don't really like playing Intrepid Adversary on 2, but I will keep it. It is a nice tempo play. Opponent going down to 6. Can't see what they're doing. Yeah, again, we're going to play the Overgrown Farmland tapped turn 1. Could be Gruul. That is a very unfortunate turn to draw. I'm going to play out the Plaza of Heroes for the time being. I want to see what else we can get out, but I will just play the Intrepid Adversary for tempo. Turn 3, we do have a Secluded Courtyard play with Anointed Peacekeeper. The mystery becomes whether we play Halana and Alena or Sigarda. Okay, let's do this first. We'll name... I think we have to name human. Let's see what they've got. They might want to get rid of Intrepid Adversary now. Here we go. Tyrant of Kerr Ridges, Catharic Pyre, Titan of Industry, Fable of Mirrorbreaker, Cruelty of Gix, Rockfall Vale. I think they should have played that. Well, I will name Catharic Pyre. Like, Fable of Mirrorbreaker, yes, they could play that 2-2, and they're going to discard things anyway. Cruelty of Gix is a slight problem. But I think I'd rather just get rid of Catharic Pyre, because it can also remove things. Interesting. We'll see if that was the right call or not. Yep, there's Fable. We get Jetmir's Garden, which isn't great. Let's attack and see what they choose to do. Brotherhood's End would be super unfortunate, but I don't think I have the luxury of waiting. So I'm just going to play everything out. They will probably discard Titan of Industry here, and Tyrant, and they did. Our Brotherhood's End would be brutal. I'm just going to block simply because I don't want them to... Here comes a Cruelty. Is this where Tyrant comes in? Probably where Tyrant comes in, right? Such a good card. Oh, Titan of Industry. Interesting. Yeah, and this has got reach as well. This isn't looking good. We're going to play out the Sigarda. I'm going to choose not to attack here. I think there is definitely a case for not naming... For naming Cruelty of Gix with Anointed Peacekeeper. I think we'll look back on that and say that was a mistake. But it's okay. Don't forget that Titan of Industry has reached. Don't think I've forgotten about that opponent. We will attack with these, see what our opponent wants to do. Adeline's good. So's Hajar. Yeah, getting rid of their Titan of Industry might be a really good call here. Although, next turn they can just play another one if they just let this through. But I kind of have to do something. Anointed Peacekeeper's not really going to do anything at this point. Yeah, let's take the Adeline. I'm not sure that's the right thing to do, opponent. But that's okay. Unless they have another Cruelty in their hand. Which they could well do. Honestly, for that Sigarda, I was really looking for a Brutal Cathar. That's what I was actually looking for. Next turn, we have a Adeline that we can just get out. Yeah, I think using Catharic Pyre there is correct from the opponent. I don't blame them. Let's get this in. Play out the Katilda. And the Thalia. We'll end the turn. Actually, we'll play out the Recruitment Officer as well. I could have played the Adeline and attacked, but I think, like, given that there was a reflection, I think I'm better off just keeping Adeline in my hand. Even though my opponent knows about it. Ooh, I haven't seen Jaxus for a long time. There's an Imperial Adversary. Could play this out for quite a bit, you know. Auto pay, if I pay this. Let's see what happens. I definitely want to do one Anthem effect. I might even do two. Yeah, I don't want to pay with Thalia. Okay, that's twice. I'll decline. Cool. I'm going to force my opponent to use everything to get rid of these. Yeah, 2 Kiki-Jikis is brutal, but at this point, it's okay. Thalia has first strike as well, so... But more importantly, we'll have the Anthem effect from Intrepid Adversary. This is going to be a very close one. It's going to be very close. I'm surprised they didn't make a copy of Jaxus and block. I'm not entirely sure what was going on there. Yeah, maybe they just don't have much in their hand. Like, they could now play a Titan of Industry. They have the 7 mana to do so. Duskmangler. Opponent sacrifices a creature, discards a card, and loses 4 life. Is it just when it enters the battlefield? Yeah, and copying that with Reflections. Kind of sad. Yeah, I think Katilda's done its job at this point. Let's just play Augur here. And then, yeah, we'll attack with everything. Really force our opponent to block with the Duskmangler. They have to block here. And they also have to block with both Kiki-Jikis. So yeah, we lose our +2/+2 Anthem effect from Intrepid Adversary. But our opponent will be going to 5. Like, this is really bad for them. Like, really bad. Yeah. Opponent's going to 1, keeping 1 Kiki-Jiki. Titan of Industry off the top. Cruelty of Gix is also a thing. Nuh-uh! Not today. Okay, opponent's going first. We have quite an aggressive opening hand, but yeah, really kind of reliant on the 3rd draw. We'll see how it goes. That's not good. That changes things. We'll play the tap Sundown Pass on 1. Oh boy. If they play Monterey Swift Spear here, we're in all sorts of trouble. Okay, Bloodthirsty Adversary. It's not great, but it's a thing that exists. We'll play out the Plaza of Heroes here. We've got a couple of difficult decisions ahead of us. You could play out the Thalia here, but that means the Bloodthirsty Adversary will just get in, no problem. Intrepid Adversary is also an option that trades here. Hajar also trades pretty well. Intrepid Adversary would die to a Play with Fire, Hajar to a Lightning Bolt, but Lightning Strike but at least Lightning Strike wouldn't go to our face. It's a tough one. Katilda's definitely not the play here. I think Thalia's the play on turn 2 because Commando is coming out. So we're going to let this in for 3. We'll go down to 13. I mean, 2 mana Play with Fire would be kind of brutal, but it is what it is. And it also stops the turn 3 Mechanized Warfare. Reckless Stormseeker. Wow. This is not looking good. Yep, not a surprise. We'll go down to 10. What have we got at this point? Let's play out the Secluded Courtyard, naming... Well, we've got red, Plaza of Heroes. I'm going to name Human. There is an argument for naming Angel, because we've got Sigarda in our hand. But our opponent doesn't know that we have Sigarda in our hand. And then we're going to play out the Intrepid Adversary and try and get some life back. Because it trades very well with Bloodthirsty Adversary, trades well with Reckless Stormseeker. And we have to play something. Can't just not play anything, you know? Phoenix Chick off the top. Double Phoenix Chick. Oh, jeez. Not entirely sure why they didn't just give the +1/+1 to... The +1/+0, sorry, to one of the Phoenix Chicks. And I think they realised this. I am going to block that Reckless Stormseeker. That's far more dangerous than anything else coming through. Really could do with the land off the top. Don't get it. Nah, that's unfortunate. Let's see, I'll go down to 6. I've got to play the Katilda here. Oh, I can't play Hajar because Thalia is white. Oh no. I'm gonna have to. Ideally, I'd be able to play Katilda and then Hajar, but that's not possible. So I'm gonna just have to play that with the Hajar. Yeah, it's not good. I'm not going to attack with anything. Just pass the turn. I land, and I would have played Halana, given the tokens, given the +1/+1 counters to Thalia, and this game looks very different. Oh, there's a lightning strike. Yeah, this game's over. I can sacrifice Hajar there, and I probably should have, so Bloodthirsty Adversary doesn't attack. But honestly, I think this game's over. Yeah, I'm not going to go any further. It is what it is. All right, going on the play, the hand's too slow. We only have 2 guaranteed lands, and we can't play anything, so we're going to mulligan. This is better. We'll probably stick. Honestly, I'm playing 4 copies. It's probably Halana and Alena. That requires me to play 4 lands. Everything else requires me to play 3. And I'm going to be honest, these are a lot more tempting than what that was offering. Okay. We have a strategy. Turn 3 is going to be interesting. I'll probably play out the Adeline. I'm definitely playing out the Adeline now. Gonna attack. Gonna create a 1/1 human as well. The great thing is that this kills Radha, Reckless Impulse off the top 2 lands. Opponent chooses not to attack. Don't get stuff. That's okay. Let's see what you're playing with, sir. Let's not see what you're playing with. Alright, going first. 2 lands that means we can't make our turn 1 play. Kind of relying on a white source. Nah, it's a sketchy heap. I'm going to mulligan. I think there's better 6s than that 7. This is much better. We will get rid of Recruitment Officer. Alright, let's see how it goes. So the reason why we get rid of the Recruitment Officer is because our lands are Plaza Sundown Pass. And that means we can't play Recruitment Officer on 1. Okay, this is a Esper Legends deck. I love this deck. I will probably be doing a video on Esper Legends in the next few days. Really looking forward to seeing what our opponent's got. Nothing. Okay. This is where I just play out Halana and Alena. Interesting. Was not expecting Make Disappear. Could just be Esper control. There is an argument that I got greedy with the Katilda and I should have played out the Thalia instead. I think there's nothing wrong with being aggressive with the play. Because if that Halana, and if my read is correct, and it is Esper Legends, it looks like it's Esper Control now. Yeah, it's definitely Esper Control. But if my read is correct, we're looking at a very different game. Okay, there's a Sigarda. We now have a threat over the top. It could be Orzhov, it's not, it's Esper. Let's see what they want to do here. It's not a problem. There is an argument that we should be playing the Brutal Cathar. However, I'd like to keep a Plaza of Heroes open in case they do try to remove something. And also Farewell is a card that's played in Esper Control. In case you've forgotten. I don't want to overextend into it. Let's see what happens here. There's a Recruitment Officer. Oh, I should have played the Recruitment Officer straight up. Yeah. But there's a reason I didn't. I should have still played the Recruitment Officer straight up. Because it means that... oh no! I wouldn't have gotten the Coven. Because I keep forgetting Sigarda gives +1/+1. We'll end the turn. Still susceptible to a Farewell. as a Liliana.
A fight? And you think you can win?
I will happily sacrifice a Thalia here because I have another one. I have a third one actually, but yeah, here's another Thalia. And I don't actually mind Liliana getting a +1 off here. I think there are... I think I am happy discarding the Thalia. Yeah, I'm just going to put pressure on my opponent. At this point, I just want to create a ball presence that they can't deal with. There's the Ferry. They've got 3 cards in their hand at this point. Just try and think of how they can win here. That's a way they can win. Holy. Yeah, that's fine. Opponent, what are you doing? Oh, that makes sense. I forgot it taps an artifact as well. Untaps an artifact. Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, we'll draw. Play out this Brutal Cathar. Please don't have a counterspell for it. Thank you. Alright. Yeah, I'm just going to attack with Sigarda. Next turn I have another Brutal Cathar to play. They're digging. Oh, they found something very quickly. They found something really quickly. Oh, that kills me. Yeah. We will discard the Intrepid Adversary. But I think at this stage, Liliana next turn. Yeah. I should have killed Liliana when I had the chance. But I think it's such a marginal call. Because if he doesn't find a Depopulate or Farewell from the Teferi, and they're only running 5 max, right? It's a very low chance they find it. It is what it is. I don't think I can be mad. I think we can go back and forth on the intricacies of that decision. I think it's a very interesting decision, but it is what it is. So how did the deck do? Well, my Naya Humans adventures end in a 58% win rate over 38 games, 63% on the play, 50% on the draw. If we want to break down individual matchups, Mono Red 6 and 4, Mono Blue 2 and 6. Mono Blue is a terrible matchup for this deck. I did win 1 game on camera, but in my testing, very different story. Azorius 50%, Mono White 67%, 2 and 1. Mono Black 2 and 1, Esper Legends 0 and 2, Selesnya 2 and 0, Jund 2 and 0. Really fun deck. Really fun deck. In terms of considerations of other cards you may or may not want to put in here, Valorous Stance can blow out trades. It can deal with things like Shieldred and Hortigen. Things you will see a lot of in the format. That's a lot of monocolored decks in best of 1 because of how cheap they are and how opening hands are generated in Arena. It's not how you think it is. It's not fixed, but it's done in such a way that you'll always have 2 or 3 lands in your opening hand, which leads to more consistent draws. One of Mono Red's biggest weaknesses is inconsistent draws. That fixes it. So, yeah, Valorous Stance, consider having it in your deck. Hopeful Initiate and Guardian of New Benalia. If you want to play a deck that's more white focused, you'll need a different mana base, you'll need a lot more planes, but that also opens up things like a Ganjo. I always say it wrong. But these will give you a bit of a quicker start. You can play for Recruitment Officer, for Hopeful Initiate, for Guardian of Benalia, for Thalia, and go from there. I'd still go Naya though, because Halana and Alena is just a really powerful card. But that's a build that you can get familiar with. The final card you might want to consider is Owl the Dawn Sky. Something to end the game and go over the top with, but that requires you to have access to 5 mana. And as you would have seen in the games, you don't always get there. To get full value, it would need to die, but even if the opponent doesn't kill it, it's still a big body that can fly, and it will pose a problem for them. So that's a really good one. It's not in today's deck because it costs 5 mana, and it's also not a human, but you may be tempted by the upsides. Let me know. It's a really fun deck to pilot. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you on Monday for a new deck in Standard, but in the meantime, take care of yourselves, stay safe, and don't do anything I wouldn't do. Bye-bye!